Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays with Robin, where we are empowering you with knowledge and amplifying your voice so that you can take the lead in your wellness journey. The information contained in this video is for informational purposes only and is not intended to treat or diagnose any medical condition, nor is it advice concerning any medical conditions. If you would like to make any changes to your diet or lifestyle, please discuss those with your health professional. Okay, let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about the connection between gut health and mental health. Yeah, we're dealing with a lot of both of those in these times and days, and I don't think we realize how connected they are to one another and how much we actually can do to support our mental health by supporting our gut health. So I'm going to tell you about the connection today, and then we're going to talk about a couple of easy to implement, not easy to do, but easy to implement ways that you can support your gut health and support your mental health. So when we're thinking about our mental health, I want us to think in terms of two branches of our nervous system. So we've got our parasympathetic and our sympathetic nervous systems, right? So the purpose of our sympathetic nervous system is to help us when we are in fight or flight mode, right? So when something happens, we need that rush, our body responds so that we can deal with a danger or an emergency or a situation at hand. Unfortunately, these days, due to our lifestyle, we're living a lot in that sympathetic state, that fight or flight state. And people are experiencing sleep interruption and anxiety and all kinds of things because they're stuck in that. When we're actually supposed to live more in the parasympathetic state, which is our rest and digest mode, right? So now we're talking about the rest and digest mode. Let's talk about another area of a nervous system that most people don't know about. There are over 100 million cells in our digestive system, from our esophagus to our anus, that are communicators with our central nervous system, right? And so that is called our enteric nervous system. And more scientists and doctors are considering that like a third part in partnership with the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. So there's that connection between our digestive system and the communication with our brain and the central nervous system. But when we're looking at our gut, we're talking in particular about our stomach, which is supposed to take the food that we've taken in and break it down, and then our small intestine, which is supposed to disseminate the nutrients from that food that we've taken into the rest of the body. And then we have our large intestine. And our large intestine is where what's left over is turned into waste. And in a healthy environment also is to produce some vitamins and a lot of other substances that we need in our body. Now, that healthy environment is basically a healthy microbiome. It's our gut bacteria, right? So our gut bacteria needs good and bad to work in balance. Everything is always going to be about balance. So in order for us to have a healthy gut environment, a healthy large intestine environment, we need the presence of both good and bad bacteria. And in the presence of both of those, in the proper balance, our large intestine is going to produce vitamins K2. It's going to produce vitamins B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 12. And so when we have the proper balance, then we've got amazing things going on in our gut. that are impacting the rest of our body, including our mental health. So, for instance, I heard Dr. Corey Feldman discuss this environment in terms of prison guards and prisoners. So, think of the healthy gut bacteria as prison guards, and they're keeping the inmates, which are the bad bacteria, in check, basically. And those good bacteria, some of the things that they're doing, like you have GABA, and what GABA does is it's basically a neurotransmitter, and what it does is it sends signals that are blocked to the brain, that are blocking, basically slowing everything down, just kind of put us in that calm state. Again, think rest and digest. So GABA in our large intestine will send signals to help us calm, right? And so then there's glutathione, which regulates the release of GABA and dopamine. So in the presence of the right amounts of glutathione and GABA, we have our microbiome releasing substances that are helping us calm down and also helping us experience joy and happiness, right? When those things are off, then we don't necessarily get the opportunity to have those things released, those signals released into our bodies, which is going to definitely affect our mental health if we're always on 10, if we're always running, if our brain never gets to calm down. It's hard to sleep at night. It's hard to function during the day. It is a very difficult state to be in when there's no dopamine to be released. Then how do we experience joy? How do we find happiness in things? Well, it's really hard when chemically it's just not available. If there's the presence of LPS, which is actually a bad, very bad bacteria that could be present. LPS is a predictor, is an indicator of anxiety or mood disorders. So if those things are present in our gut, indome, what it does is if it is off, then it's going to throw off our cognitive ability and create instability in our moods. All of this is taking place in our gut, in our microbiome, in our large intestine. When we support a healthy gut microbiome, we're supporting mental health. Now, when things are thrown off, they're thrown off because, just imagine it this way. Imagine that the inmates are rioting and they're overpowering the prison guards, and they're just taking over. And when they do, things just go awry, as you can imagine. And we experience those things in our body. And here's some simple things we can do, just 2 things we can do to kind of support that healthy environment in our gut, and thus in our mental health. One of those things is to try, going back to what we talked about earlier with the parasympathetic mode, is try to eat our food in a rest and digest mode. This will improve our digestion, which will improve that whole process, right? So it's important that we slow down to eat our foods. It's, our moms used to tell us all the time, slow down, stop eating so fast, sit down and eat, don't stand at the, right? This was important. It is important. So one of the ways that we can do this is, get your food, sit down. Don't eat on the run. Don't eat standing up. Don't, just take a minute and be kind to yourself and sit down and rest, right? If you pray, take the moment to actually really get into that moment of thankfulness and not just spit out a quick prayer. If you don't pray, then take some time and just take 3 really deep breaths and slow exhales before eating, right? And as you're going to eat, take your fork or your spoon, get that food on there, put it in your mouth, put that spoon or fork down, and then chew. Chew your food until it's the consistency of a smoothie before swallowing. And once you've done that, pick up your spoon or fork or your food, your burger, and take another bite, and then put it down. It will take longer to eat, but this is good because if you're trying to lose weight, slowing it down gives your body time to release the the hormone that tells your body that it's full. If you're eating too fast, you're eating too quickly for that hormone to get released. And then after you've gorged yourself, you feel like you've gorged yourself because that hormone finally gets released. At any rate, so you want to slow down your eating. You want to get into that parasympathetic state to improve and support your digestion. Now, the other thing you want to do, now this one is a little bit hard. I know this is hard for me too. Those rioting bad bacteria, they had to get empowered. They had to be empowered to overtake the keystone, to overtake our prison guards. They had to overpower those prison guards. So one of the ways that they have done that is they've been fed, and one of the things that they've been fed on, what they love to eat, is sugar. Yes, sugar. They are empowered by that sugar. That's why we have cravings for it. We need it. Why? Because the prison rioters are demanding it. And when we feed ourselves that wonderful cinnamon bun, then we are feeding those rioters and empowering them. And then we're actually weakening the prison guards. So we're supporting basically the imbalance in our gut. And so one of the things that we can do is step back and stop feeding and stop responding to those cravings. Much easier said than done. I know this, but it's very important to do. At the beginning of this year, I took my family on a 21-day reset where we said no to the cravings. We went on a no added sugar, gluten-free, dairy-free 21-day reset. This January, I'm taking my family on another one. It's hard at first, I will admit, but it does not take long before the reset happens. And the results are so transformational that it is worth the pain of saying no to sugar. What I'm also going to be doing, because a number of people have shown interest and asked me about it, is I'm going to spend this 21 days that I'm taking with my family, and I'm going to develop a course. I'm going to develop a book, a workbook. So what I'm going to do is I am going to open up pre-registration for my 21-day reset on January 1st. You can come to my website and sign up. It is going to be a super deal. My first group is going to be called my beta group, and it's going to be at beta pricing. Actually, it's even below beta pricing. I'm taking 21 people for $21 a person to go on a 21-day reset. So that's going to be my first group. We're going to do it in March. Keep watching this spot because I'm still going to be doing the Wellness Wednesdays. We're still going to do Wellness Wednesdays live. I'm going to do my first one and the last Wednesday in January. And we're just going to really take the lead in our own wellness journey. And we are going to recapture health, and we are going to face our future with hope, with expectation, with joy, and with strength. We are going to face it with energy and with vitality. So I want to thank you for joining me today on this Wellness Wednesday, and I hope you have a great day. Be well.